Zipporah, Moses' first wife. We are happy that you are back on the Great Biblical Stories channel. Here together we will discover hidden gems in the Bible, true pearls in the lives of great real biblical characters that often go unnoticed by our eyes. In this video we will learn the story of Zipporah, an enigmatic woman who was Moses' first wife. Zipporah had a huge presence in Moses' life, important and remarkable in God's plan to establish what was in God's heart and also for humanity. A story full of courage and strength with a lot of cultural complexity and strong spiritual meaning. So many questions? Moses, chosen by God for the Israelites, have you ever asked yourself this? Why did he come to God in a life-threatening situation? Why did Zipporah step in to stop a critical moment? Questions that we will learn and see answers to in the great mysteries of Zipporah, a strong woman who will help God's people on their journey. What will we learn? The story of Zipporah, her union with Moses, and consequently learning lessons from her life. But before going deeper into this story, take the opportunity to subscribe to the channel and give it a thumbs up. Comment and share with your friends and family so they can also enjoy this wonderful journey. Your comment is extremely important to us. Together we will learn the timeless story of the mysteries of the Bible. Zipporah, Moses' first wife, is a stunning, fascinating, and singular figure in biblical history. Daughter of Jethro, a priest of Midian, she belonged to a culture distinct from the Hebrew people and brought with her values and practices that directly influenced Moses. Zipporah not only represents a woman of faith and courage, but also serves as a link between different traditions and customs, highlighting the universality of the divine message. Origin and cultural context of the Midianites. The Midianites, of which Zipporah was a part, were known for their spiritual practices and for a deep connection with the desert and nomadic life. Zipporah's father, Jethro, was a man of wisdom and spirituality, a priest who cultivated reverence for the one God, which provided Moses with a space for reflection and spiritual development outside of Egypt and Hebrew culture. This diverse environment was fundamental to Moses' formation, as it allowed him to know and respect traditions different from those he had learned in the Egyptian court. Zipporah, as the daughter of Jethro, was a woman who carried this cultural and spiritual heritage, being a strong and fearless wife. Zipporah's role in the life of Moses. Zipporah played a crucial role in supporting Moses on his spiritual journey and in fulfilling his divine mission. In one specific and remarkable episode, she demonstrates her strength and spiritual discernment by intervening and circumcising her son, a gesture that appeases God's wrath against Moses. This courageous act is seen as an affirmation of faith and covenant, highlighting the importance of religious observance and faithfulness to the covenant with God. Zipporah shows that she deeply understands Moses' demands and calling, acting as his helper and protector. Zipporah's influence on divine history. Although Zipporah's presence in the biblical narrative is brief, her importance is undeniable. She is one of the few foreign women who plays a significant role in the history of the people of Israel, which shows that God's message transcends cultural and ethnic boundaries. Zipporah is a representative of the unity of different peoples and their mutual support around faith in the one God. Her life teaches us about acceptance, courage, and the importance of being faithful even in a culturally diverse environment. The importance of Zipporah in biblical history. Zipporah's story, although brief, offers a lesson on the value of faith and female intercession in Scripture. Zipporah was not only a devoted wife, but also played the role of intercessor, mediator, and guardian of divine promises. Her life is an example of how faith and commitment can unite people from different cultures for a greater purpose. Zipporah, therefore, symbolizes not only the role of women in divine history, but also the universality of God's message. She inspires us to value each person's cultural roots and to recognize the power of faith and unity in fulfilling divine purposes. Zipporah continued to play an important role alongside Moses, especially when he accepted God's call to free the people of Israel from slavery in Egypt. Although Zipporah was a discreet figure, her presence at Moses' side helped him gain strength to face a challenging and dangerous mission. She was one of the few witnesses to the first moments of divine revelation to Moses, a woman who, with simplicity and faith, supported her husband and shared with him the weight of the divine calling. Zipporah's role in the formation of Moses. When Moses fled Egypt after killing an Egyptian to protect an Israelite, he took refuge in Midian, where he met Jethro and was welcomed into his home. This period was a time of great transformation for Moses, and Zipporah's presence was essential. By marrying her, Moses gained not only a wife, but also a spiritual and cultural companion. Life in Midian, far from Egyptian customs, offered Moses the opportunity to reflect, mature and prepare himself for the mission that awaited him. Zipporah was a woman who demonstrated strength and balance, characteristic of Midianite women who lived in direct contact with the harshness of the desert and the rhythm of nature. She taught Moses how to deal with the simple and challenging life of the desert, to understand the value of patience and the importance of resilience, attributes that he would need in his future leadership. Thus, Zipporah participated, even if indirectly, in Moses' spiritual and emotional preparation. Zipporah's circumcision and test of faith. One of the most emblematic moments involving Zipporah is the account of her decisive action in performing the circumcision of her son. According to tradition, during the journey to Egypt, Moses fell seriously ill, and Zipporah, realizing that this was due to the lack of circumcision, took the initiative to perform the rite on her son. With this gesture, Zipporah showed a deep understanding of the covenant between God and the people of Israel, even though she was not an Israelite by birth. This episode highlights her courage, discernment, and loyalty to her husband's faith. This act is extremely significant, as it highlights the importance of the covenant of circumcision and the commitment to God. Zipporah, by acting quickly, saves Moses' life and reaffirms the family's commitment to the divine covenant. What could be seen as a small gesture is, in fact, one of the most powerful proofs of faith present in the biblical narrative, where a foreign woman, through faith and love for her husband, fulfills an act of obedience to God. Zipporah teaches us about the strength of faith and the transformative role of women in times of crisis. Zipporah, symbol of unity and diversity. The story of Zipporah also reflects the acceptance and appreciation of cultural differences. Zipporah, as a Midianite woman, brought a distinct perspective to Moses' life, rich in values and teachings. The union of Moses and Zipporah represents the union between different cultures, where love and faith are stronger than differences in origin. This marriage symbolizes the openness of Moses and the people of Israel to other peoples and cultures, a message of inclusion and respect that resonates to this day. The relationship with Jethro and spiritual guidance. Another important aspect of Zipporah's presence is her connection with Jethro, her father, who was a figure of spiritual guidance and counselor to Moses. After the exodus from Egypt, when the people of Israel were facing difficulties in organization and governance, Jethro offered Moses advice on how to delegate responsibilities, helping him establish an efficient administrative structure to lead the people. Zipporah, as the bridge between Moses and her father, facilitated this rapprochement, showing that her role went beyond personal support to her husband and also included mediation between him and other spiritual leaders. Zipporah's farewell and the legacy of faith. Later, as the journey in the desert progressed, Zipporah's story becomes less present in Scripture, but her legacy remains. Her absence from the biblical narrative reflects the importance of her early role in the formation of Moses and in the fulfillment of his mission. Zipporah is remembered as a woman of faith, courage, and wisdom who, despite being from another culture, contributed to the sacred history of Israel. Her example continues to inspire generations to reflect on the role of women in the history of faith and the importance of respect between different cultures. Zipporah symbolizes the strength of faith and the power of women's presence behind the scenes of great missions. Her story reminds us that sometimes the greatest acts of courage and faith are not in the spotlight, but in the silent and decisive gestures of women like her, who place themselves at the disposal of God's purpose. Moses prays for the healing of his sister. Recorded in the book of Numbers, Moses cried out for God's favor to heal her, but the Lord answered. The incident leaves a lasting lesson about the consequences of allowing cultural and racial biases to damage relationships within God's people. This incident between Miriam and Aaron also sheds light on the tensions surrounding Moses' marriage. Whether the reference to the Cushite wife points to Zipporah or another woman, The conflict highlights the cultural and racial issues that may have influenced his acceptance within the Israelite community. It also highlights the complex family dynamics surrounding cultural and spiritual differences and the strength it took to overcome them. Although the Bible does not provide much detail about her, the glimpse we do get is of a courageous and capable woman who supported one of the Bible's greatest leaders. Thank you for joining us in exploring Zorah's life. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share it with others who may find it meaningful, and stay tuned for more biblical insights. God bless you.